Hi, Grizzlies, and welcome back to another episode of Grizzly True Crime. My name is Gisela K, and today we continue to look at the Delphi case, particularly because it's taken me some time as well. I'm sure it'll take a while to process the fact that this man was arrested, Richard M. Allen, Matthew Allen, 50 years old, living in Delphi, Indiana, literally in plain sight, as they said, right? In plain sight. There's lots of neighbors, interviews and things, and people that worked with him, and it's like to just think of that after all these years, 5 years and 8 months of not knowing, and of course, so many internet sleuths, including myself, trying to decipher who this man could be. And you know what's so weird is that out of all the previous persons of interest, he kind of looks the least creepy out of all of them. Have you seen all of those? We looked at it yesterday. I believe it was yesterday in the live stream, in the presentation. Holy moly. Like, if you put them all together and you say, which one is it? I mean, I don't think he would have been my first choice, you know? Now, I just have to say that, of course, he is still innocent. He is innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. And we don't know exactly how long that will take. I know they've said that January 13th is his pre-trial hearing, and March 20th is when the trial's supposed to start. But as we know, that sounds great. But as we know with these things, how they go, sometimes it takes much longer to actually get to trial time. So, yes. Interesting. You guys are saying yarn and mittens. Richard Allen was questioned 2 years ago. Where did you get that from? Because like Doug Carter did not say that. He said he's not going to get into it. I haven't seen anywhere that was said, but interesting. Thank you, Richard, for saying that. May the families of Abby and Libby finally get justice. So, yes, thank you for tuning in today. As I say, welcome mods, members, patrons, subscribers, lurkers. Of course, if you want to chat with us, I have subscribers only mode on for now. I know that right now there's a lot of us thinking of this case and processing all this information after all this time. So I may also have to put it on slow mode. If you are a member, the slow mode does not apply to you. All right. Yarn emittance in your chat. Okay. It's hard to keep up with, but if someone would email me information like that, that would be great. grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. So what I wanted to do was just quickly go over some of the slide that I looked at yesterday because we raced through it before the press conference. So I just wanted to go over this, and then I've got some very interesting clips to share with you. I have, John FBI Special Agent John Douglas, aka Mindhunter. I want to share something that he shared before in an interview with Inside Edition, which is very interesting to look at in hindsight. And we're going to do a little bit of map time, just looking at the house again and, all that kind of stuff. So let's get into it, shall we? Welcome to Membership Tom. Welcome everyone to the stream. I can already see there's a lot of people here right now. So let me already just slow it down slightly. Just slow it down, okay? Otherwise, I think it's going to go a little bit wild. Thank you to the mods who can be here today. I really, really appreciate it. So there we go. It's just going to be every minute for now. All right. So Richard M. Allen arrested Friday, October 28th, 2022, officially. He's held with no bond. So not the $20 million bond, no bond on 2 counts of murder. Now, I would think if he is speculatively part of a huge ring of very shady people, he had to have done a lot more, right, than all these people. Otherwise, they would already be arrested. You know what I mean? Because they have Ken Klein in jail too, but he was not arrested on murder charges. This guy was. He's facing 2 counts of murder, so with no bond. So that makes me think they must surely have DNA. It must have surely been something where he's not in the system, and somehow whether they had to dig through his trash based on thinking it could be him, and then matching his DNA, or whether someone said something, tipped them off or snitched or whatever it is and said, go and check out this guy. Whatever it may be, it could be something like that. Tom, thank you so much. New credit card, had to renew. Very nice. Thank you for renewing. Okay. So if we just quickly look at this, for those of you that are like, oh no, I saw in the beginning before I even started the live, they're like, hope you don't go over the same information again. We're going to go over some of it again in case some people missed it. And then we're going to dive into some really interesting stuff. So just make sure you stick around, hit the thumbs up, share this video so that other Grizzlies and new people will know that we are live right now. Nicholas Meniga, thank you so much. How's it from South Africa? Which one would you choose on your poll? On my own poll? Oh, damn. Putting me on the spot here. I would say a combination of them, you know? I just think there could be a digital connection with Kevin Klein and Tony Klein, maybe into, for the same type of stuff that these guys are into, stuff like that. There could be a digital connection there, and that's as far as I see that connection. Ron Logan is still interesting, though, just because I didn't think of this, but the way that Doug Carter said it, and just like nobody's ruled out, and he wasn't ruled out, and just thinking again of that search warrant, I'm like, it's very interesting. And also thinking of what Bridge Guy was wearing on that day. I don't know. I speculated in my video earlier, and it's just in my own opinion. He must have had some way to clean up, I think. And if Ron Logan wasn't in the house at that time, out and about doing his thing, or if he was friends with this guy, I don't know. I don't know what to think. I'm just going to say right now, thank you so much to everyone who becomes a member today. Know that slow-mo doesn't apply to you. And thank you for all the super chats and stickers. And I'm so sorry for the ones I missed yesterday. I think I missed a few of them. Very sorry about that. Okay. So his home was searched on October 13th, 2022. He was taken into custody on October 26th, 2022. And he was arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. I said that in brackets so that we just know it's not other murders. It's the Delphi double homicide. So he committed the murders when he was 44 years old. He would have turned 45 that year. Tom says, put on your seatbelt, folks. Can't wait to see this case unfold. I know, right? We'll have to be very patient. That I do know. Okay. Pyro Paul says, I think he cleaned up in the creek. He could have as well. So here are just some pictures. I mean, I'm just looking at that picture, just him standing like that, standing from behind, just the way, look at it. Look at his physiology. It's very similar to the guy on the bridge. Now, many people can look like the guy on the bridge, which is also why it did take so long to catch this guy. They needed something, some real solid evidence, something that one piece. And I do wonder if that one piece, as Doug Carter said all along, if you look at the case file that I made for you guys and go over all the press conferences again, it's like that one piece. Who is this guy? That's all they needed. Yeah, okay. So imagine it. DNA. But just look at how he stands there with that left hand like that, just the way he is. You see what I mean? And then I'm just showing a picture from the video where his wife was actually in a mall, and then she came out and kind of like stalked him in a jokey way. But he seemed to get quite a fright and just look at her like that. And I see it speculated, even on court TV, that he may be right there wearing a blue jacket similar to the one that he's wearing in the video. I think what he's wearing in the car is that blue CVS jacket. It's kind of part of the uniform there from what I've researched. And I think on the bridge, it's not quite a CVS jacket, but I might be wrong. Let me know. Yeah, Ophelia says, his body and poise never look like a 19-year-old. Yeah, he needs to say, down the hill. Yeah, similar shoulder and neckline. Yep. So, yeah, just to think that he was in, those are pictures now from Delphi. You see with the sketches everywhere, faces of, the victims everywhere. And he was just living there in this very small community, 3,000 people, tight-knit community, going on about his day. So one thing he did really well was lay low, not raise any red flags, which makes me think of just how organized and calculated of a killer he really is. Okay, so earlier I was also saying, what if he has done other crimes before? It would be more accurate to say serial offender rather than serial killer, because we just don't know if his behavior with serial offenses escalated to then murder. We don't know that. Did he murder anyone else before or after or anything like that? But I would assume, someone, I've watched The Interview Room with Chris McDonough, Profiling Evil with Mike, Pat Brown, I watched her as well, and a whole bunch of, professional profilers that have all said the same thing of that. Someone doesn't just wake up when they're 44 years old and be like, you know what I'm going to do today? Double homicide. That's right. I've never done anything wrong in my life. It's time for double homicide. No one does that. So there has to be something, which is why on my thumbnail, I think it's on this one, it says, what are the skeletons in his closet? There must surely be so many skeletons in this guy's closet, which I guess we'll find out more about perhaps at the trial. So here I just corrected something. So he was born on 9/9/1972, but he's, oh, wow, I made a typo too. 5'47", wrong as well. 5'7". It was 5'4", and I wanted to change it to 7, and now I made it 47. Damn it. But 5'7" ish, right? So if we look at, did I already show the picture? Hold on. It was the first picture, was it not? Yeah. If we look at this, I think the 5'4" source that was reported everywhere in all multiple articles and emails that people sent me was from this picture that people saw, but the increments they were counting kind of is 1. But I believe each increment is 2 inches. So 5 foot, almost 8. So 5'7", right? So he actually matches what they said Bridge Guy would be. B Rhymes with AMC says, didn't he live just a neighborhood over from Libby? Yup, and very close to Abby as well. Yes, indeed. 9 lives. Lol, typos on my friend. Typos are so not my friend. I'm like so disappointed in that right now. This is the one thing I corrected on here. Oh man. So he's 50 years old this year. In 2022, he was 44 at the time of the murders. He's got an alias named Craig Ross Renfro. And that's very interesting because there's an actual Craig Ross Renfro living in Delphi. And there's someone with a long criminal record also with the name Craig Ross Renfro. Whether that's the same guy, this other guy who lives in Delphi and who has the criminal record, I don't know. But anyway, so I don't know what he uses it for. Could it be for an online profile? Could it be, I don't know for what, He lived in Mexico, Indiana before moving to Delphi, Indiana. And he bought a house in Delphi in 2006. He's been married for 30 years, which we did discuss yesterday, but I was going through this like rapidly, right? Mountain Guy says he's 5'4" according to the booking report. Very interesting. I need to actually call this jail. You guys know I don't really call. But I may need to call this jail to find out like exactly what is his height, because this is now a debate online, Tom says the fact that he was changing his height on his body description for his background should be very telling of a movement. That too. Interesting. So yes, he's been married for 30 years. He's been married since he was 19 years old. So kind of like high school sweetheart, married to the same lady since he was 19 years old, and she's the same age. So I would assume they would graduate together. And he has one daughter, and the daughter's age I can see seems to be 10 years older than Abby and Libby even would have been today. You know what I mean? So I don't think they were like in the same class or anything. She may have gone to the same school, but I don't think there was any major crossover there, if I'm correct on the age. Yes. Gray, can you tell us what do you think his height was? And please excuse my typo, everyone. So friends or family call him Rick or Ricky. Of course, his name is Richard M. Allen. So I don't know why they don't call him Dick or Dickie, but never mind. He lives in a 3-bed, 2-bath home, 1.7 miles from Monon High Bridge and 0.3 miles from the Delphi Community High School, and has a 2010 or 2011 Ford Focus. All right, so I'm just in case anyone missed this yesterday, don't be bored yet. We're going to look at clips and everything after this, right? So just hang in there. He was initially booked into the Carroll County Jail, but was then moved to the White County Sheriff's Department in Monticello, Indiana. His previous infractions are really low-key. Not wearing a seatbelt, speeding, another speeding one. Nothing major there. So again, he stayed low profile his whole life. Licenses, pharmacy technician license, a hunting license, and a concealed weapons permit. That's why I was saying maybe he knew Ron Logan, because apparently Ron Logan had hunters, come and stay on his property or hunt on his property, things like that. Is she really 6 months older? Damn. Then all these background checks are very, very wrong. Yeah, Katie's like, 30 years of marriage. 30 years of marriage, especially from such a young age, right? Mountain Guy says, I need an alias too. I think you have one. It's Mountain Guy, 777. Right? Dave says, booking info is always off a little. Uh-huh. So Rochelle Bronzo says, I believe you are correct. Age is about 10 years older than Abby and Libby. Is the daughter Kegan's age? Around there. Are we all doing typos today? Today is Typo Tuesday. Let's not. Oh man. I have his height at 5'6" or 7. Exactly, right? That would make more sense to me. I mean, we were looking of course at Debbie Collier's case, and Andrew Geigerich is like 5'4", isn't he? That's a little man. I don't know if he was that little, this guy, you know? But let me know what you guys think. Someone says here, went the graduation pics of his daughter from 2018. Yes, and Marie says evil lurks just about anywhere, especially with these very calculated ones. Hello to Lieutenant Peter Pronzo, Harlem Raiders, and Rochelle Pronzo. Yes, Stefan Typo Tuesday. Lil Dick Allen or Lil Dickie Allen. I just don't know why they call him Rick or Ricky, right? Richard. Anyway, what up, Mob Crew? Does anyone, Mob Crew, do you know his exact height? That's what we're trying to figure out. From this mugshot and the increments here, it seems to be that he's just under 5'8". I would say 5'7" if the increments are 2 inches each. But I don't know. Okay, so you guys, yeah, Brittany is the same age as Kay, so not 6 months older. My email is grizzlytruecrime@gmail.com. Hobbit size. Easily distracted says, was the wife aware of his activity? I think that's literally the question, right, in every killer's case. I don't know if you guys used to watch that. I don't know, in South Africa, I watched the true crime channel there. And they're like, the evil next door. What is it called? It was like evil living amongst us. And like, oh man, I can't remember the name of the program. Like who lives next door, or like the husband you never knew. And you're like, oh damn. So sometimes you just don't know. Yes. Julie says it's a Troy Driver type murderer. That's the thing. Troy Driver, we also only know of the one murder that he committed and is yet to be tried for. So again, he's innocent until proven guilty. But yeah, he reminds me a little bit of that type as well. Tom says 5'4". Thanks, Tom. Interesting. Oh, damn. Grey Hughes Investigates just answered. Okay. Hold on, everyone. I don't know. Wait. Oh, there you go. Irina sent in something at 5'4", and my source said that wasn't quite right. And then another technique got 5'7", but I added 2 inches for possible hunch. Okay. Is it correct to say around 5'7", and then you added a buffer as well? Yep. Rochelle says the photo of Alan's daughter, 28-year-old Brittany, was posted to Facebook by his wife, Kathy, 2018, just over a year after the girls disappeared, as per Google search. Thank you so much. Yeah, that's what I saw also on the, doing background checks. I just saw her age was around 28. And isn't it so sad to think that, Abby and Libby would have been finishing high school now? That's the age they would be now? Wow. Mob Chris says that photo wouldn't be accurate because it's taken from a bad angle. I think 5'6". Fellow employee said 5'7" and was an inch shorter than him. Okay, that's helpful. Thank you. Yeah, if his wife knew, that would be even more awful. I mean, it's not like unheard of. I just think that she would be in the dark as well. Now, I'm guessing I don't have to go over the whole timeline again. Do I, you guys? Do I? I don't think so, right? We're going to move on here. This was just something, just in case people didn't see. Thank you, Tom. I'll check it when I can. So Bridge Guy was recorded by Liberty German's cell phone on the Monon High Bridge at 2:13 p.m. on February 13th, 2017. Described as a white male, 5'6" to 5'10". So that's how law enforcement described him. 180 to 220 pounds, reddish brown hair, believed to be between 18 and 40. He was actually 44 at the time, but it wasn't too far off unless you say 18, right? But may appear younger. Wearing blue jeans, a blue coat or jacket, and a hat. Watch how he walks. Watch the mannerisms as he walks. The person is from Delphi. Yes, currently has or previously lived here, visits Delphi on a regular basis or works here. So I don't know if you guys find it soothing at all to go over all the things they said and to realize, damn, all the things they said, most of, turned out to be true, right? The killer may be attending the press conferences, and really he was so close. Even where they had the press conference yesterday, damn, his house is close. Of course, he wasn't at home, but you know what I mean. He's hiding in plain sight, has likely been interviewed by investigators. Thought for 2 years that they would not change their investigative strategy, but they did. I wonder, if what they think he was thinking. Knows this is about power to the killer. Knows the killer will wonder what they know, and one day he will. Well, if it's him, then now he does, right? What will those closest to you think when they learn that you brutally murdered 2 little girls? And that is a thought. Imagine what his daughter, what his wife, family, mother. What are they thinking now? And we'll see some clips in a moment of neighbors and people in the in I almost said in the village in Delphi. I live in a village, that's why. In Delphi, what are they all thinking? So many of them are so disgusted, and some are shocked, of course. So wow, they believe that he's different since the murders, and that people closest to him would notice the change. I wonder about that, because it seems like he is so good at staying consistent, right? What do you think? Okay, we can get back to this a little later, right? Because we've gone over this yesterday. I just wanted to really look at this. This one has no typo, thank goodness. And I made the 5'7" in green now. So 5'6" or 7. They said 5'6" to 5'10". So they gave a good range, and he seems to be 5'6" or 7. So just look at everything that's in the green is exactly how they describe the suspect. It all, if it's this guy, it's true. Just the age was a little off, right? Okay. Oh, no. Caroline Page, really bad company branding for CVS. Yeah, they may have to change the colors on their jackets, right? There's this interesting thing that he may have lived in Peru before. I don't know exactly when. We went over this yesterday as well. I just want to quickly see, quickly over my slides. The one thing I didn't get to go over much yesterday was this 4chan message board, which I just found interesting because it became a bit of an inside joke on 4chan that the killer's name is going to be Richard, or that it is a Richard. And now it's like, oh, my word, they arrested a Richard. Because this person typed, what you all fail to interpret about small town civics is the manner in which fall into each other in a public square. One cannot find happiness or fortitude with a simple game and keep their daughters safe from such predators. This man will get away with everything. I didn't want to come out and say it, but I lived in Delphi for years, and without a doubt, Richard is not well known in the town. I have been monitoring the thread. And they say just because there's a video of Richard on the train tracks doesn't mean he did it. The cops are smart enough to know this and have probably interrogated him already. It was a dead end. Either that or he has connections. So I think that's where it's probably coming from earlier. Whoever asked, or who said that in the chat, it's probably from here where they say 2 years ago, right? Yes, we're going to look at this as well. Amazing, if I remember correctly, that this morning you mentioned that he's also helped some of his victims' families when they came to CVS. He was literally looking in the aisles for the families, according to something that a clip that Court TV shared. That is very hectic. Wow. Okay. So this person, can you believe someone typed on the 23rd of February 2020, just because there was a video of Richard on the train tracks doesn't mean he did it. Okay. It was probably someone from out of town. Who knows though? So there's that. And then there isn't any Richard. He had nothing to do with it. And they say, tell us more about Richard. And this is late night, real life horror kind of thread. I will keep making these until the police finally arrest Richard. That is fascinating to think about now in hindsight, of course. And the POIs in the past, as I said, if we look at Richard Allen, don't you think he looks the least creepy of all these people? Except the people on the bottom left-hand corner. I just mean, damn, Charles Eldridge, Daniel Nations, James Chadwell, Paul Eder, Kegan Klein. I mean, damn, Thomas Bruce was already one discussed as well. Garrett Kurtz, damn, right? Oh, yeah. Yarn and Mittens. There you go. You were saying it earlier about the 2020 thing. Angela says, I think he probably made copies of the photos and kept some for himself. Oh, my word. He probably didn't need to because they were everywhere, right? But I get what you mean. Okay. Heidi. Everyone in the Dan community there looks like Bridge Guy. Okay, so now what I want to show you is this one. Let's just quickly read this, where they say Abby Williams and Libby German were found dead in February 2017. Their killer has still not been caught. Now, someone has been arrested and charged with the two murders, right? Richard Allen, America's foremost criminal profiler. So let's just tell you that this article is from May 15th, 2019. Okay? May 15th, 2019. So they say Abby Williams and Libby German were found dead after they went for a hike in February 2017 and never returned. More than 2 years later, authorities have yet to catch their killer. Among the few clues, video from Libby's cell phone showing a man walking toward the two girls, and a recording in which a man apparently says guys down the hill. Former FBI special agent John Douglas, the goat of true crime, right? AKA the Mind Hunter, told Inside Edition the audio, of which an extended clip was only recently released, may hold a vital clue, especially the use of the word guys. Guy says to me that maybe he knew these victims, said Douglas, or it's a person, someone who has interaction with children. He added that the person who killed the two likely has some kind of criminal history. You don't wake up one day and commit a double homicide like this, he said. There has to be some kind of trail. And that's the skeletons in the closet that we are looking at. What could that be, right? We don't know it. We don't know it yet. I'm just also, this was already speculated way back, of course, but now in 2019, with John Douglas saying this, and now, of course, every profile is saying, there's no way you just wake up. I know it's common sense too. You don't just wake up at age 44 and be like, that's a double homicide day to day. They say Douglas, who inspired Jonathan Groff's character on the Netflix series Mindhunter, also addressed the recent and chilling suggestion by police that the killer might have been present at news conferences or at a news conference last month in which the extended clip was released, together with a video of the suspect and a new police sketch. That tactic, if they're going to do it, they should have done it 2 years ago, Douglas said. They should also be checking and looking to see people who were here. Now they came up with some reason to leave the area. Well, this guy didn't leave the area then, right? So they say authorities said Monday the release of the new evidence has triggered a wave of about 3,000 fresh tips. Douglas's new book, The Killer Across the Table, spotlights the most diabolical killers he has ever encountered. So let's just quickly have a look at this clip here.
The mystery of who killed those two teenagers in Indiana.
You don't wake up one day and commit a double homicide like this. There has to be some kind of trail, some type of prior criminal history.
Former FBI Special Agent John Douglas, aka the Mind Hunter, says that recently released extended audio of the suspect speaking may hold a vital clue: his use of the word guys. What does guys say to you?
Guys say to me that there may be he may know these victims, or it's a person like if he's dealing with children, girls and boys, he won't say boys, he will say guys. So someone who has interaction with children.
When you say somebody who,
I would love to know if it's something that he did say around the pharmacy, right? Did he say like, guys, can you just pick this up? Well, I know guys is a pretty typical term as well to use, but I still would be interested to know, right? Tom says it would be awesome if this brings light to the Flora fires. Yes. Yes, exactly.
works with children, a coach, a teacher.
Sorry, I'm giggling at the sniffle here. Sniffle. Bill Bradley says creeps like him keep trophies. I bet police found plenty of evidence. We'll go over that as well.
What does that say to you, like profession-wise?
Yeah, it was almost how like a school teacher would tell kids.
Abby Williams and her best friend Libby German were found slain near this old rail line in February 2017. Video of a suspect was released at a news conference last month, along with a new sketch of the suspect, showing a much younger man than the previous police rendering. I asked Douglas about the chilling suggestion by cops that the killer might actually have been present at the news conference. It was open to the public.
To the killer, who may be in this room, we believe you are hiding in plain sight.
They should also be checking and looking to see people who were here. Now they came up with some reason to leave the area.
Authorities say the release of the new sketch and the enhanced audio has triggered 3,000 fresh tips. Douglas's new book, The Killer Across the Table, spotlights the most diabolical killers he has ever encountered. What do you think of the strategy from law enforcement so far?
I just think they should have been releasing information a lot sooner.
Okay, so let's remove that quickly. I just want to see some of the comments that I received here. Just hold on. Tiramisu said, from what I've gathered, police were there and then left. Police were there, then left, and he was caught trying to burn something in the fire pit, and police were there either the next day or a few days later with some serious papers. Interesting. And Edie Mack said, my niece ran into him at France Park when she lived in Camden when this happened. She volunteered for Sleepy Hollow Haunted Hayrides. She said she had seen him a few times when she worked in Delphi. Damn. Okay. Interesting. Goodness. Okay. So what do I have here for you? Oh, I wanted to also just quickly show you this before I show the clips. Where, look at this. Here are 14 infamous serial killers in the actual police composite sketches. So I'm not saying that this guy is a serial killer. He may be a serial offender, but I'm just showing you the sketches because people are saying, why could no one recognize him? Well, the sketches are crap. And I see a lot of shade being thrown at the sketches, but look at sketches in the past. Look at them. Sketches are rarely very accurate. Look at these. So we've gone over this once before. I think it was in the Long Island serial killer case. We looked at some of these sketches that also can be inaccurate. I mean, this one right here looks more like Gacy than Dahmer, man. Look at that. Look at the Richard Ramirez one. David Berkowitz. Like, oh my word. Some better than others, but still, I'm just showing you that sketches are not the most accurate thing. Look at this one. Look at the hair. Oh, wow. Kenneth Bianchi. Sure. This one is pretty good, actually. So there you go. I'm just showing you some examples. Look at Eileen Werner. Damn, the sketch. Not so accurate, huh? Yeah, some of these sketches are worthy of some snarky commentary on my other channel, G&T, huh? Okay, so let's look at this. I've just got a whole bunch of clips lined up for you, so let's see what I got for you here.
He interacted with everybody in this town. He interacted with all of our children, our babies, our teenagers.
See, that's interesting. He interacted with all of us, with our children, with our babies. Like, damn. You know, was he very friendly to everyone? He was family sort of guy. Nice guy, right? The nice guy. I call it the nice guy badge. He was wearing it real shiny around town, right? But just the way this lady said it, damn.
Another lingering concern. Take a listen to what she had to say. He interacted with everybody in this town. He interacted with all of our children, our babies, our teenagers, with us. He told us to have a good day, stay safe, you know, everyday normal conversation. This man carried on with his life like it was nothing.
He does not look like a happy camper there. What do you guys think? I just quickly want to end the poll if I can. Just hold on one second. Okay, look at this guy. Not looking, of course he's not a happy camper. I'm just saying, like, damn. This face, my word. Yes, Copper Horse. As Duck Carter says, a sketch is not a photograph. Exactly. Okay, let's quickly see what you guys voted. Do you think that anyone else is involved? And if so, who? 53% voted Kagan Klein and his dad. 5% Ron Logan. 12% someone else we've never heard of. And 31% I think he acted alone. All right. Jeanette says, if they only had the sketches to go on, it would never have been solved. Yeah, that's the thing. So many weirdos were exposed in the Delphi area. So I suppose that's a little bit of the silver lining, right? In the search for this guy, so many other weirdos were exposed and probably caught, right? Yes, double life to a T, exactly. Yeah, he looks, Louise Hunter says, he looks so sorry for himself. And Gretchen says he looks, damn, I'm busted. Yeah.
Yeah, that is the other half of this feeling. Again, while many are relieved that this news came, it's living with the fact, knowing that this person lived and worked in this area for the last 5 years. Many told me they had multiple interactions with Alan. Looking back, they say they are simply in shock. Now, usually we would have much more information on why police arrested Richard Allen and why they connected him with this crime, why they think he's responsible for the Delphi murders. Police and the Carroll County Sheriff's Office, they are not releasing that information, at least not yet, not at this time. Our senior investigative reporter, Bob Siegel, is going to explain more now on why that is so unusual. Bob?
Okay, let's hear it from Bob. Let's hear it from Bob. All right. Sorry, I'm just trying to keep up with the messages here.
Karen, when someone is arrested and charged with a crime, prosecutors must publicly file a probable cause affidavit to explain the why. It's required by law.
I kind of like the way this guy explains things. I'm like, okay. Are we taking notes or what? Aries Dragon says, do you know cause of death? Literally nobody does. Nope. And that's in the sealed probable cause. Mm-hmm.
But today, that did not happen.
Today's about
Okay, this we saw, right? I've got 2 videos out, including a sniffle-free one for you guys. And that took some time to edit out all those sniffles. I was going to count how many, and then I lost count. Sorry about that. I was going to tell you I deleted, I don't know, 127 sniffles or whatever. All right. So Valerie says, I wonder why Libby's cell phone wasn't destroyed by him, thus allowing the video. I don't know. And that I stand corrected on. I'm not sure. Was it found? I believe the cell phone was found near the scene, right? Damn. It's the totally I'm totally pucked look. Yep. Yes, the I'm busted look. Like a cat back in the cage, right? Big Bake on the move is in the house. Got to get up to speed on this case. I thought it would never be solved, right? So shocked. And in 2022, I mean, still there has to be the trial. He has to be proven guilty. He's innocent until proven guilty. So, but still, my goodness. Okay, so this we saw yesterday. So let's go to the next clip here. This would be Libby German's grandparents speak out after the Delphi murders arrest.
What went through your heart when you heard? They told you on Friday, correct?
The sound sucks.
Well, we were called in on Wednesday and told that they had detained somebody. So we've had a couple more days to process this. I don't feel like I thought I would. I've always said that I would be screaming on the rooftops. But
I'm going to put the closed captions on here. I hope you guys can hear, or do you need me to boost it at all? Are you okay?
we're not. It's sad. While there's somebody that's been arrested, there is, our lives for 5.5 years have been in a search mode, and that's what we've done. And
Man, to switch gears, like search mode for 5.5 years, and now to be in, whoa, it's at the next step now. The absolute fight for justice.
you get up and it's like, oh, we're not doing that anymore. So we're all just kind of feeling our way and figuring out what our purpose is now. What do we do next? How do we help? That's what we want to know, is how do we help now to make sure we...
Some of you are saying can't hear it very well. Is it okay? I know the sound is a bit off for me too. Let me know.
We have the right person to make sure there's a conviction, to come to a total final resolution.
Ma'am, are you all fearful that someone else was involved in this that is still at large?
That's certainly a possibility, and that's why we're keeping it open out there, right? That's why the investigators answered that.
So this is Mike Petty, Libby's grandfather, and we just heard from Becky Petty, Libby's grandmother. And every single day on Twitter, every single day on social media, she shared a beautiful picture and saying, today is the day. And I mean, every day, right?
That question as well, as the tip line remains open. So any information pertaining to this case, that's certainly, I want to get that to the investigative team and let them vet that out.
You're fearful that that person or those people
I'm
might
not-
have
I'm
had
not-
a role in the actual crime itself?
I don't know any of that information, what you're asking.
Do you think there's anybody in this town that knew about this and kept their mouth shut?
I don't know. That would be speculation, really. I mean, what do you think?
It's a small town.
He's like, what do you think? Because they're pressing him for all these questions. It's like, what do you think? Damn. Good one. Turn the questions back around on the reporters.
Sure is.
A lot of people who know each other.
Yeah, I'll save those words when I see him face to face.
Hey, Mike. Hey, sorry, we got here. I guess how's it feel to know that this guy, nationwide search, this guy was found down the street from where you guys have frequented and gone before?
Well, it's not an area that I really frequent, but I mean, your point is, yeah, it's definitely, that's why we said never stop searching anywhere, because we didn't know where he was. And like I said, Doug Carter had made mention of that, is he could be living right amongst us, hiding in plain sight. And that's what came.
Tell me just how you're feeling.
Have anything to say to Richard Allen?
No, I'll save that for when I see him face to face.
So what went through?
Damn, I'll save that for when I see him face to face. Can you imagine the anger of looking that man in the face? Knowing that the whole family, everyone in the community went to that CVS, the only pharmacy there? Man.
Your heart and your mind when those charges were read?
It was a kind of bittersweet. You know, it's I just know that there's another job, another hill for us to climb ahead of us, but we're up for the challenge. We're going to keep after it. We're not going to stop.
Why is it important to keep the tip line alive at this point?
Because I want every stone unturned, every bit of information that's out there pertaining to this case. I want the investigative team to have that information.
How confident are you the police have their man?
That's what the courts will decide, right? But I'm confident. I've always had confidence in the investigative team.
What keeps you hopeful?
Yes, I'm hopeful.
Look at all the microphones. I know they got to get it, but damn, it makes me feel claustrophobic just looking at it.
What keeps you hopeful?
The faith and the strength of our family, and the fact of I know how hard the investigative team has worked, and they're nonstop.
Who asked that?
Yeah.
Who asked
Oh, damn.
that?
Back here.
Oh, I wanted to speak about your faith because I know it was important to you.
If it were your child, would you have an option not to be hopeful?
No, absolutely not.
That's why we're hopeful.
Of course.
You all, there's
Okay,
can I just?
I think the tone of the question was probably not delivered the way that the lady intended, right? It was like, wait a minute, who asked it? I think she was asking kind of in the context of how do you keep the hope alive? Like, well, why were you hopeful this whole time? Type thing. Ooh. But then later at the end of this clip, you can see her like, no, I didn't mean it like that.
I'll just ask you one question. Maybe you can put a rumor to rest or something. There's a report going around right now that this Mr. Allen actually processed some photos for the family at the CVS. Do you know if that's accurate?
That is accurate.
Okay,
And the photos that he processed for the family were for the girls' funerals. Oh, my word.
he didn't charge the family when they came in to claim the photos?
That is correct.
Okay, and you know that firsthand. We are always careful to be accurate.
All right, one more question.
We know that.
media coverage of this has been fair?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. You guys in the media have been certainly more than fair. I mean, don't get me wrong. We've had our share of shots taken at us, and that's fine. And hopefully those people will now be able to reflect in the mirror and say, oh, maybe that wasn't the case. So, reservations and things like this is always the better case, right? This the better judgment. We all know that, and that's just how we are, right? I don't cast judgment on something until I know for sure. And
Okay, thank you.
Good advice. Good advice.
That's where we're at. Thank you.
Listen to the lady now that's like, no, I didn't mean it like that.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
You're fine.
Ma'am, thank you so much. I know this isn't easy. I appreciate it. Mike,
Wait a minute.
I'm really sorry.
Mean that bad.
No, I really didn't mean it.
She's like, I didn't mean it bad. I didn't mean it like that. Oh, man. So what we got here? Okay, I've got a whole bunch of clips, as I said. So let's look at this one here.
Delphi, Indiana, rattling their hometown to its core as more than 5 years went by without an arrest.
It's scary because we have a lot of trails here, and I have a teenage daughter, and we enjoyed going on those trails and doing things in the community. So it just left you with a feeling of uneasiness.
Now some relief as sources tell WRTV, our ABC affiliate in Indianapolis, that an arrest has been made in the investigation into the murders of Abby Williams and Libby German. The teens' bodies were found near a hiking trail in February of 2017. The name of the person arrested has not been confirmed, but sources say that the suspect appeared in court.
Of course, now we know the name. So at the time of this clip, we didn't, but now we know.
This morning, Heather Starkis says she knows the suspect. She described the person arrested as a local who worked at a Delphi pharmacy store for years. She had this to say about the suspect.
The person that they're accusing has children of their own, so how would you feel if something like this were to happen to your children?
German's sister posting on
Damn, it's so interesting to hear from just everyone they're interviewing. I try to find as many clips as possible
Twitter today in part
in the community.
Just know how grateful I am for all of you. Today is the day.
I hope the best for the community and the families, that everybody can finally be at peace with what happened to those girls.
Okay, so let's look at this one now. WRTV, interviewing the family outside the house.
You know, disbelief, like, okay, I'm hearing this, but it's a process.
We expected to be excited and happy and like overjoyed that he's arrested, but now we're dealing with understanding that there's a lot of reopening wounds that's coming with that.
While the family prepares for months of hearings.
So that lady did say he has children of his own, as Vanda Chim says here, has children. She said, I thought he had only had one daughter. From everything I researched, he only has one daughter, and that's also what I see the coverage, right? If anyone knows any different, let me know. But maybe that was just a general statement you were saying, right?
And a potential trial. They say they will remain committed to helping other families facing unsolved crimes. Most notably, the arson fire in Flora, which killed 4 girls in Carroll County in November 2016.
If you don't know anything about the Flora fire case, I do have a playlist for that, and it's also on my Delphi playlist, I believe. I've done quite a few episodes on that, and we've had Cop Facts on here, and the Real Gone Gonzo also talking about it. So go and check that out. And if you don't want to watch the whole thing, which I would love it if you would, some of the episodes I think are like 10 minutes, and some of the live streams are very informative. If you want to know about that case, especially hearing from Cop Facts, then if you could, just please like it and share it at least. Hashtag Flora4. That would be amazing.
Never give up. Never give up. Keep pursuing it.
We've met so many families that are walking the same walk and have walked it for many years, longer than us. Don't give up hope.
All right. And I think this is Raphael, right? They always refer to in the press conferences. Doug Carter always says his first name like Raphael, or they say Raphael, right? So I think that's him here from WRTV, who's done some excellent coverage throughout the years on this case. I just want to see, there was some comment. Oh yeah, Chicago asked how were they killed, not to be insensitive, but I don't recall them saying. They've never said it. They've never revealed the cause of death. Well, yeah, that's all sealed. So we don't know the details. All right. Okay. Clever says there was a flyer of the murderer displayed at his workplace. Exactly. There was. Okay. Let's see this next clip here. This was from News Nation interviewing Becky Patty, which was very interesting to see as well. Tom, thank you so much. I do have those background checks. Thank you so much. I've been sharing them in the last few days. I really appreciate it. Sent you an email with RA background, and the guy he used as an alias, the fact that he was making movements at all is very telling. Yes, and I have that alias name, that guy's full criminal history as well, but it seems to be another guy, some other guy that lives in Delphi. So it's interesting, I don't know what exactly Richard Allen was using that for, but damn. Thank you so much, yes, for the support. Rachel says, hi, G, sorry I'm late. I sent a new email. Thank you so much. I like to focus on one case at a time. Thank you for your email. And love the release of the nose, the no sniffle conference. I'm glad you enjoyed that. It was definitely a little bit easier to listen to, right? All right. Okay, so we carry on here.
Now, thank you for being here and talking about this very difficult subject. This is your family. But you have said that Richard Allen did develop the photos for your family while working at that pharmacy. Do you remember your interactions with him?
It wasn't me, it was my daughter. Not just that, all what she remembers is that she...
Sorry, for those who don't know, this is Becky Patty, Libby German, one of the victims' grandmothers, and she lived with her grandmother. So Libby and her sister Kelsey, who we just saw on the clip as well before, but Libby and Kelsey lived with Becky Patty and Mike Patty, and Abby Williams, the other victim, lived with her mom, Anna. Okay, just so that you know.
Had sent some photos up there to be developed, and then she was picking out some more, and he's the one that gave them to her, and then said, you don't have to pay for those, we'll take care of that. But I have learned since that is common for them to do that.
It's common for them to do that, but if he's the alleged killer, it's just mind-blowing. When you heard he'd been charged with 2 counts of murder and one of those girls was your granddaughter, would you ever have suspected him, somebody who was a neighbor, essentially?
No. You always hear this anytime somebody's interviewed after a horrible crime. All the neighbors say, "Oh, I would have never imagined." So that's kind of where everybody is here right now. But we have always known that that was a possibility. It was also a possibility that he wasn't from around here. I guess we had just always kind of hoped that he wasn't from around here.
Right. And that hope is completely valid to hope he's not from around there, even though that might be then harder to catch him. I don't know. But to think of him being in such a close knit community is a very scary thought for the entire community, of course. Bertil, thank you so much. You say, Mods, please tell Gisela that I saw that Richard Allen has one biological daughter and one stepdaughter with his wife. She asked for this info. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Had you heard from law enforcement how they tracked Richard Allen down?
No. They called us on Wednesday, said we want to meet with you in an hour. And at that time, they didn't give us a name. They just said they had somebody detained. So that came totally from left field. We weren't even aware that an arrest was even close.
What does justice look like to you?
There's never going to be real justice because you can't ever bring the girls back. But justice for us, the solace that we have is to know that once the girls' killer is convicted, that the world's a little safer and that he can never hurt somebody else.
Becky, Patty.
That's the good. That's the good that can come out of this.
I guess, and as we said earlier, all the other creeps that they caught in the meantime in the community, right? My word.
That's the good. Thank you so much for joining us. I do want to ask one more quick question. What are your hopes? How are you moving forward? How are you and your family staying strong?
We stay strong through faith and family. We have walked this journey with our entire family, step in step. And as for what's next, we're still trying to figure that one out. I don't know what my purpose is now. Before it was to keep the word out there and keep the search on. And now, I guess now our purpose is to remind the public that the police are still asking for tips. They still, maybe it's easier for somebody to send in a tip now because there is a name. And before,
That's going to be so helpful, you guys. If anyone has any tips now, knowing the name and the face of this guy, I'm sure there's a lot more that's going to come out of this, right? As they prepare for the trial. Magnetic Janet says, I heard R.A. married his wife in 1991, but then I'm not sure. That sounds about right. He was born, was it 72, right? And he got married when he was 19. In 2016, she said 25th anniversary. So that would make sense. I also don't know. David Snake asks, where are the bio parents? That I'd love to know as well. And there's so many rumors, of course, right now. So one of the rumors is that it was actually his mother that turned him in. Another rumor is that it was his wife. Another one is, of course, that it was just completely random, that he stole some neighbor's garden tools or something, or tools out of his shed, and then law enforcement went to look there. But it just seems like it was far more, there was something that led them there that was a little more specific, right? So someone either tipped them off or they got his DNA somehow or something. Because, man, they should have dug up the flower beds and looked in the shed and took photos in the shed and all that kind of stuff. Craig G. A lot of people ask, how did the wife not identify him? I guess how for 5 years and 8 months did anyone, even the whole internet, not identify him? Only 4chan ever really mentioned the name Richard, right? So no one did, but I get what you're saying. A lot of people saying, wouldn't you know by the clothing and stuff like that? But maybe not. I don't know. Maybe just would never believe it's him.
It was just a sketch and bridge guy. Now there's a name and maybe people can remember back and think, oh, I had an interaction with this guy. This was kind of weird. Or I saw him with so-and-so or something. It might be a little easier to get those tips in now.
And for you, you have other grandchildren, is that correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So I know one of your purposes is to be a wonderful grandmother as you have been?
Well, yeah, we do everything. It will be nice because in the last 5 years, I have missed a lot with my other grandchildren, and I never used to miss a ball game, an event of theirs. And I have missed so many of them in the last 5 years, and so many of them have grown up. And I look now, and my goodness, they're grown, you know? So it will be nice to have the time to go back and reacquaint the way I used to with the kids.
All right, Becky, thank you again.
I really like this News Nation reporter. She's got a lot of empathy, concern. It comes across as very authentic. What do you guys think? I like it. Okay, so let's look at this is Doug Carter's interview. Let's just see if there's a shorter clip here. This is the clip. Did you guys watch my video from earlier? I'll just show you this little bit here where they say what they dug up or carried out from the search of his home, like from the backyard. So just have a listen to this. It's from the HLN special.
I want to go back to Delphi. HLN investigative producer Barbara McDonald. Barbara, walk us through these photos and what we're seeing.
That's right, Susan. I was able to speak with some of the neighbors of Richard Allen. They've lived near him for several years. They were familiar with him, but didn't know him well. But on Thursday, October 13th, they noticed a lot of activity outside his house, a lot of cars that appeared to them to be unmarked law enforcement vehicles, a lot of men not in law enforcement uniforms, but in suits and khaki pants, all arriving at the house just before noon. They asked Richard and his wife to exit the home and to remain outside of the home throughout the day. They weren't allowed back into the home until around 11 p.m. that night. During that time, Richard
So I did share this in my video earlier, but it's very interesting to hear what all they carried out. So listen carefully.
Stood outside. His wife sat in a van. He stood outside that van for several hours. One of the photos shows that we've exclusively obtained. Another photo shows him sitting in the van with his wife with the passenger door open for another several hours. At some point, as it was starting to get dark out, these neighbors noticed that the Carroll County Sheriff's Chief Deputy Tony Liggett arrived. He had a piece of paper with him. He showed it to Richard Allen. And at that point, a tow truck arrived and started taking the car away, one of the cars away, not the one he'd been sitting in, but a car that the neighbors recognized as one that he routinely used. And they began a search inside the house and also in the yard using some sort of a device, perhaps like a metal detector or something like that, to search a flower bed. And
Searching a flower bed was something that looked like a metal detector. Like, damn, I wonder what they were looking for in there. You know, would it be a weapon? Would it be hard drives? Or what would it be? It's just like, what? What is he hiding in the flower bed?
And also an area around a shed. They did dig around the shed, some small areas. They took a lot of photos in the shed. The neighbors also watched through binoculars as officers came out of the house carrying several bundles of cloth, dark cloth, perhaps clothing, a Macy's shopping.
Oh, several bundles of dark cloth. Damn. A Macy's bag?
A shoebox, and a stack of books, small books.
Wow.
And
I wonder if those would be like logs, diaries, what kind of books? You know what I mean? Like, what would it be? And the shoebox, what would be in there as well? Is that like a trophy box or what's going on in there? Of course, we don't know. Casey says his wife probably tried to do 23andMe for them as a present. Lol got his DNA. Just kidding, but definitely would be wild. I mean, it could be something like that. Doing something like 23andMe, yeah, or Ancestry.com or whatever. And then they have familial DNA. Could be something. Maybe the daughter even did that. We don't know. And of course, with them digging the backyard, there has been speculation that because of what was written on that leaked search warrant of Ron Logan's property and what the FBI was really looking for, they mentioned a lot of times, you know, of these animal hairs or foreign hairs. And so some people are saying they may have dug up a cat. There's a couple of cats they've had over the years. I don't know which ones are still alive or not. I've just seen it from the photos before his wife deleted her Facebook account. I still have the pictures though in a zip file here. I don't want to show them now because I can't sort which ones to show and which not. I don't want to show all her pictures, but they did have a lot of cats and they had a little dog too. So I don't know if any of these pets were perhaps buried in the backyard. If it was a cat terrier that gave him away, who knows? There's a lot of theories out there right now, of course. Feel free to let me know what you guys think as well. Yes, Seema Turner says his wife put a photo of their daughter sitting on that bridge after 1 year of the murder. Yes, and I believe that she took that picture. But it is really, we looked at it yesterday, so make sure you check out that live stream as well. And I think I put it on my slide for a second here today. Did I? Let me quickly look. Hold on, let's see if I got the picture. I think I deleted it from the slide today because I've shown it so many times. And it just hurts to see it every time because it's so eerie. You know, in hindsight, of course, now it's just like, oh man, maybe, you know, it is a popular place to go. Not so much crossing the bridge, but where she's sitting would be where Libby and Abby were, where she filmed the bridge guy from. So that's really scary to see that as well, you know?
At this point, we don't know what any of that means for the investigation. That is something that I'm sure investigators have spent the last several weeks looking for, whatever evidence perhaps led them to today. And the neighbors said that they had known him for several years, and he was basically, there was nothing special about him. He lived a quiet life with his wife and didn't have loud parties, didn't have a lot of people over. They spoke to them on occasion, but not often. And they're quite unnerved by these developments.
Yeah,
Susan?
So that is all very interesting what they got from the backyard there. What do you guys think? Lynn Harvey says, I would have loved to see Alan's face when the cops knocked on the door. Me too. And especially making him stand outside there for 12 hours. Well, also sitting in his car, but that's a long time to be waiting, thinking, oh my word, they're like literally searching my shed, my man cave, or whatever was in there. It would seem plausible that it was his man cave, and who knows what on earth he all kept in there. A shoebox with who knows what in it. Several, what did they say? Bundles of dark cloth, a Macy's bag. Okay, very interesting. What's in the shoebox, guys? And what did they get with that metal detector or something that looked like it, right? Man. Yes, digging in the flower bed to dig up pet to check animal hair. Could be. Do you guys want me to go over the search warrant again? I mean, I never get bored by it. I find it really interesting to read because it's got a lot of details of the crime scene. Not as much as you guys might want, because it's been many years, of course, but there are details in there that are very interesting, and we've gone over it before. But please let me know if you want me to read through it, because I've already got it here. If you want to. If you want me to, put a 1 in the chat. If you'd rather not, if it's like, nah, we already know about it, we'll watch previous videos, put a 2 in the chat. 1 for yes, 2 for no. I would not mind going over it with you right now if you wanted to. We'll just look at some more clips, and then we'll go over that. It won't take too long either. Okay, so let's look at this one. This is Libby German, one of the victims' sisters, Kelsey German.
It's not any feelings we were expecting to feel. We were expecting to be excited and jumping for joy, but it brings up a lot of hard memories that we now have to work through again.
Police say 50-year-old Richard Allen of Delphi is now in custody, charged with 2 counts of murder and being held without bond. His home was searched last week with
You see, yesterday when I was showing map time, and I'm saying it's everywhere on the news. I mean, we don't necessarily, if this is not public information, we wouldn't just share the address like that. But look at it. They're like driving by, they're knocking on doors, they're showing the house number, they're showing the house and all that.
Investigators digging up his fire pit and towing a vehicle. They're tight-lipped about what, if any, evidence was found.
I believe this picture that they're showing right here, where he does have, I guess, more weight on his face, is from a DMV driver's license type photo. I think that's what they said it's from.
The probable cause affidavit for Allen's arrest and subsequent charges is temporarily sealed. Although it's unclear how long Allen may have been on law enforcement's radar, he's never been named publicly as a figure in the investigation.
Oh, in this picture, I'm sure you guys have seen it everywhere by now, but I'll just show you again. Where I'm circling here is a picture of the new sketch that they released in 2019 of the Delphi suspect. You know, the younger picture, and he's like sitting right in front of it. This was apparently at a bar called JC's Bar from locals that have emailed me. I mean, damn, look at him. He's just there like smiling along, feeling super confident.
investigation. Our sources have confirmed that Allen worked at a local CVS.
It was a shock to us that it was someone in our community, and it was hard to work through.
Authorities again asking the community for patience and tips. Kelsey said
Patience and tips. So tips are still very much needed. I know I'm hiding here. Sorry. Let's Watch the Movie said, even though his wife took that picture, it's still weird. I can't imagine taking my child that looks similar to the victim to a spot where something like this was known to have happened. Odd behavior. It definitely is odd behavior. I do agree with you. Very, very strange to also sit right there. Wow. It's very eerie. Goodness.
that she's now preparing to face Allen in court.
My feelings are in a million directions, but I am looking forward to figuring out what that letter will say and what those words will be.
Okay, so that's what Kelsey said. And then what is this one? Oh, yeah. We were looking at that. So just wait. There was one more clip. But this I shared clips of in today's video. So I won't go over this too much, right? You guys were just all emailing me because you said the beginning was interesting to watch. So let's see the beginning here. Then we'll look at the search warrant.
Weren't sure what kind of emotions you were going to feel today. And talk about that. You pulled up and it just hit you.
Well, I got up really early today and I didn't really work all day yesterday and in my mind about what was happening. And I just decided to take the long way here. And I was going to get here early and I decided not to. So it was about a 2-cup trip. And I just disappeared into the rural areas of Delphi, from Delphi to my home. And it was a bit surreal. And then when I pulled into the parking lot, it was really surreal. And it was just peaceful. I just felt, weird.
I'm sure it would be a huge relief. And surreal, I understand as well. That's kind of what Becky Patty was also saying. Like after all this time and that resilience, that stamina to every single day be like, today's the day. We're not giving up. Doug Carter also shared in this interview that his father said to him before he passed away, don't be cynical like me. And it seems like that message really struck a chord with him. And so I think that's what kept him going, is that message from his father the whole time. Don't be a cynic like me. Don't be cynical. Keep the hope alive. So yeah, that really helped. That advice was really great. True Crime with Sunshine says, hey, love, thank you for all you do. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I really, really appreciate it. If you wouldn't mind, if you haven't yet, hit the thumbs up and share this so that other people know that we are live right now. Hashtag Delphi. That would be helpful. And hashtag justice for Abby and Libby, or you could say hashtag justice for Libby and Abby. Those are all valid hashtags to use to categorize everything really nicely on social media. All right, so let's look at a little bit more. Then we'll look at the search warrant, okay?
I didn't expect that.
You were visibly emotional up there. Can you talk about that? I mean, you've always said this was personal.
It is personal. It's personal to all of us. And to be able to participate and see the raw emotion and to see the commitment and the dedication of not just from the state police, but from, the sheriff's office in this county has 12 deputies, I think. The city of Delphi is very small, but it's a wonderful, wonderful community. And just to see the level of commitment at a time when most people would have just walked away is very powerful to me as my career comes to an end. It's very powerful.
You can hear he's got a little bit of a cold or something, which is probably why in the press conference, not that it matters much. People were just really complaining about it. Man, the sniffles. But here he seems fine. He seems all right in this after the press conference, post-press conference interview.
Are you confident this is your guy?
The judge signed the probable cause affidavit for the arrest of Richard Allen for 2 counts of murder. Yes.
Do you think there are other people involved?
I'm not going to go there.
There's still speculation out there that investigators should still continue to look, even though he's passed away, around Logan where the bodies were found.
We're going to keep doing what we've done until there's nothing left for us to do. We're going to keep doing it.
I was looking back at my old notes from I have notebooks for 5.5 years. So
I'm probably going to say that when I've had a channel for 5.5 years too, right? I have a lot of notebooks too, but notebooks for 5.5 years, I relate to that. Do you guys also? And do you have your Grizzly notebooks? Like, damn, like I have notes everywhere. Love taking notes. And I'm so glad she's got all those notes from 5.5 years and she could go over it before this interview. Look at Doug Carter's face here. He's like loving the notebooks as well. What?
So I was reading back on the time when you guys searched Mr. Logan's property, and Kim Riley, was it Kim's? And he was saying it was because some things didn't add up. Are we still looking at Mr. Logan as possibly
Looking
involved?
at everything and all of it. We're looking at all of it. We said when this happened, we were going to start all over.
So you
That's
never,
what we're doing.
so you never cleared him, Mr. Logan.
We haven't cleared anybody.
Talk about the decision to keep the PC closed.
Well, that's a part of this entire process. This is not a typical, usual.
So keeping the probable cause closed. We won't watch this whole thing. I'm going to go onto the search warrant now so we can see those details. I'm just showing you this little Ron Logan portion as well that he does say we haven't cleared anyone. They're going to start over, look at everything, look all the tips, everything they've got, right?
Homicide investigation, but they all matter. But this one is different. And Nick McClellan, the prosecutor here, has been a really good partner and made the decision to attempt to do that, and the judge agreed. So that's all I'm going to say about it.
Can you talk about what brought you to Mr. Allen?
No, I can't.
Can you talk about if he's related to Kevin Klein in any way?
Talk about any of the facts associated with the case. Emily, I can't.
And from this point is where my video that I uploaded for you guys today, so please check it out after if you haven't yet. There's information in there as well. I showed you much more of this interview and pinned it in the comments for you to find really easily as well. So right now, I did also say we're doing map time, but let's first look at the search warrant, right? We can look at the search warrant and then a little article that I've got there for you and then map time and then call it a day. I know we've already been here over an hour, but we won't be too much longer. So let's go like this. Yes. And make myself smaller. All right. So this was the search warrant that they got for Ron Logan because the victims were found on his property. So it's very interesting to read as well. It's 11 pages is what it says. It says Nicole Robertson swears or affirms that she believes and has good cause. So yes, qualified to look into this. I, Nicole Robertson, am a special agent with the FBI and have been employed as such for 12 years. Okay, so just a bit of background. Then they say on February 13th, 2017. So, sorry, Pixie says, yes, can we read through the search warrant? Yes, we can. That's why this will just help remind us all, refresh us of why are people even speculating about them looking in the flower bed and his shed and stuff for animal hairs or digging up the fire pit? Like, what's that all about? So how does the cat hair help? I don't understand that, but can someone explain? We're going to go over it now in the search warrant. Mary Flynn, I did not go to CrimeCon. All right, so let's go here. They say on February 13th, 2017, at approximately 1 p.m., juvenile victims hereafter referred to as LG and AW, so Liberty German, Abigail Williams, were taken to the Monon High Bridge Trail located in Delphi, Indiana. LG and AW were walking the trail in the area of County Road 300 North and 575 West near latitude, longitude at approximately 2:13 p.m. So Monon High Bridge, we've looked at that before, right? Which was the time of last contact with LG and AW by cellular device. The victims were to be picked up by a family member at 3 p.m. and the victims never met with a family member. So please remember, this is a search warrant from way back from Ron Logan's property. Okay, don't get it confused that it's now Richard Allen's search warrant. We don't have that. Okay, so they say the victims were to be picked up by a family member at 3 p.m. and the victims never met with the family member. At approximately 5:30 p.m. was the last successful ping of the cellular phone by AT&T. All right. Thank you so much for the support, Sarah. I'm going to look at your message when I can. Just hold on 1 second. So here they say the victims were to be picked up by the family, right, by 3 p.m. But there was this last ping at 5:30 p.m. The victims, LG and AW, were located deceased on February 14th, 2017 at approximately 12:17 at the above listed latitude and longitude, having been the victims of murder in accordance with Indiana Code 354211. All right, so let's quickly read this. Thank you so much. I would bet my bottom dollar that he worked alone. Most narcissists do. Working at the Sol pharmacy in town likely kept him up to date on all the local gossip. Probably did, yes. I mean, it is a very tight-knit community, but having a job out there, he would probably hear a lot of the local gossip. As a suspect has been developed of a white male wearing a blue jacket with a heavy physical build, wearing a cap and blue jeans. The development of this suspect was made by a 43-second video taken on LG's phone, where the suspect follows the victims as they are walking on the Monon High Bridge trail. Near the end of the video, the suspect speaks to the victim saying, "Down the hill." So as you know, we've only seen 1 or 2 seconds of this whole video. We've never seen the rest of it. I don't know if we ever will. I don't know if it will be presented at the trial or anything like that. Hello to Abel Windsor. Nice to see you in the chat. Okay. Yes, and Magnetic Janet, he worked as a shift manager at the CVS. Yes, he did. He did. Okay, so then I'm just going to, you guys are asking, I think it was in March that this was. Let's just see. What's the date of this? Was this in March? I think it was. We'll have a look now. Oh, March 17th, 2017. Okay. We got it. We're on the same page now. We're on the same page. So here they say, near the end of the video, the suspect speaks to the victim saying, "Down the hill." It sounds as though he's directing the victims to leave the trail that they were on and enter the wooded area below. No person has come forward and identified himself as the person who met the victims and made the statement in LG's video. Therefore, it's believed that person in LG's video participated in the killings. Images of the suspect have been broadcast on the news media since February 15th, 2017 as a person of interest. LG and AW are presumed to have made contact with the unknown male at approximately 2:13 p.m. based upon analysis of LG's cell phone, which recorded the video. On February 14th, 2017, at approximately 12:17 p.m., victims LG and AW were found dead with wounds caused by and it's redacted, but it's speculated that is a sharp weapon. Some people have said deadly weapon, sharp weapon. I'm not too sure. Now, just think of how sickening it is for the killer to do that on February 13th, late afternoon. You know, wow. And then to think that he would have spent Valentine's Day with his wife and just be like, "Oh, happy Valentine's Day." Like, wow. Think about what he did the day before. Sure. Okay. So here they say on February 14th, at approximately 12:17 p.m., victims LG and AW were found dead with wounds caused by a sharp or deadly weapon on the property owned by Ronald Logan. A large amount of blood was lost by the victims at the crime scene. So when this leaked by the Murder Sheet podcast, this was like, what? Because no one had ever heard so many details before, even though it's not all the details, of course. So it just gave a little more insight into what this crime scene could have looked like or what happened, because it all sounded so mysterious. It still does compared to what law enforcement has said. So they say because of the nature of the victim's wounds, it's nearly certain that the perpetrator of the crime would have gotten blood on his person or clothing. The location of the crime scene is approximately 1,400 feet from Logan's residence. So even though you guys say he could have cleaned up in the creek, it's very hard to clean those jeans, what he was wearing. Like, what in the hell was going on there? I still wonder, how did he get out of there? Maybe via the cemetery. We'll look at it on the map again, to the CPS building or wherever he parked. I don't know. But to think that the sketch is also based on people seeing people out there. Very interesting. Logan is a 77-year-old male. Logan's physical build is consistent with that of the male suspect videoed by LG on the Monon High Bridge Trail. Logan owns farmland and cares for large farm animals. Logan appears to be in good physical condition. Logan has been interviewed several times. His voice is not inconsistent with that of the person in the video. So we looked at that as well. If you do check out my Delphi playlist, we did look at that whole possibility. Looking at the voice, he does say "down the hill," So I know there's a whole school of thought still that believes Ron Logan is the guy. And now with this guy being arrested, there's the rumor would be that in some way Ron Logan is involved. So let me know what you guys think in the chat. It was also discovered that something of one of the victims was missing from the crime scene, while the rest of their clothing was recovered. It also appeared the girls' bodies were moved and staged. Based upon my training and experience, it's common for perpetrators of this type of crime to take a souvenir or in some fashion memorialize the crime scene. whether by photos or electronic or digital methods that are then downloaded onto computers, storage devices, tablets, phones, iPad devices, or other electronic devices that store digital data for later viewing, scanning, or copying. Which is why I was saying, maybe in the shoebox or whatever, on the Macy's bag, or any of whatever they searched and took out of Richard Allen's house, maybe they took out a whole bunch of old cell phones or USB or hard drives or whatever, things like that. Ron Logan has passed away. Now, again, I've got to jog my memory. I think it was at the end of 2021, the end of last year, that he passed away. So he died in 2020. I remember that whole debate of exactly when it was. Was it 2020? Okay. So he has passed away. But as we just saw, that interview with Doug Carter, even though he has passed away, Doug Carter said they never ruled him out. They haven't ruled anyone out. And they're starting from the beginning and looking at all the tips and everything, even things that are still coming out now. Yes, Ophelia says Logan asked for an alibi before he would have known he needed one. Maybe he found them and panicked. Interesting. 2020. Thank you. All right. So here they say we're going to go over something. The little article I've still got for you afterwards is just about the staging. I get a lot of questions about that as well on email and things like that. They say LG and AW had no visible signs of a struggle or fight, which is interesting as well. No visible signs of a struggle or fight. Of course, one shoe was found, Libby's shoe, on the one side of the creek, and they were found on the other side on Ron Logan's property. So I don't know if at that point, if at some point she tried to break away, run away, and lost her shoe. I don't know, but that is interesting that there's no visible signs of a struggle or fight. During the processing of the crime scene, investigators located unknown fibers and unidentified hairs, which may later be used for comparison of similar fibers or hairs. So that's where the whole cat hair, dog hair, horse hair, all the the hair talk comes from. They say Logan owns numerous weapons, including handguns and knives, that were observed by LEOs during the execution of a search warrant that took place at his home on March 6th, 2017. Logan's home was searched as a result of a probation violation. The search was limited to the discovery of firearms and included only his main residence. Stefan says no struggle or a fight is really interesting. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. He died last January. And someone, wait 1 second. Magnetic Janet says, or did he, I'm going to use the code word here for YouTube, rug them? What's interesting is that alias name he uses, the alias name has criminal records, and that would be unlawful possession of a syringe and using, and man, this will be hard to make a code word, a rug starting with an M and then ending in amin. So that made me think, like, if it was in any way him, or if he did similar things like that, I don't know. You just don't know if that could be a possibility. They say on February 14, 2017, at approximately 9:20 a.m., so that would be the next day, right? But look at it, like 3 hours before they found the bodies, Logan contacted his cousin, and Logan asked him to tell the police that he came to Logan's home between 2 and 2:30 on February 13th, 2017 to pick Logan up. Logan further told him to say that he drove Logan to an aquarium store in Lafayette, Indiana. Logan told them to say that they returned home to Logan's house between 5 and 5:30. So that, of course, was a giant red flag, right? I was like, sorry, what? Why is he doing that? On February 14th, 2017, while requesting consent to search Logan's property, a law enforcement officer advised Logan that law enforcement officers would not search his home unless evidence led them to his house. In that meeting, Logan told the Leo that he did not think evidence would lead them to that, but said, I don't know. A receipt from Aquarium World in Lafayette dated February 13th, 2017 with a checkout time of 5:21 p.m. was found in Logan's home on March 6th, 2017 during a probation violation search. Logan resides approximately 22 miles from the store. it would take approximately 30 minutes to get to the store from Logan's home. On March 6th, 2017, during an interview with a LEO, Logan said he was picked up by his cousin around 3 p.m. and then taken straight to the aquarium store in Lafayette. In the March 6th, 2017 interview, Logan said after he was done at the aquarium store, he was driven straight home. These statements were found to be factually false and intentionally designed to deceive law enforcement officers. Right? Yes, Sweet Pineapple Fruit Loop says, not Ron Logan, he wasn't supposed to be driving because his license was suspended. Yes, okay. Then they say on March 17, 2017, the cousin was interviewed by law enforcement officers and they told them that he was with Logan on Monday, February 13, 2017, and that he drove Logan to the aquarium store in Lafayette. On March 9th, 2017, he was interviewed by another law enforcement officer regarding the trip to the aquarium, and then he told law enforcement that he had lied when he was interviewed by them on March 7th, 2017 at Logan's request, and explained that Logan had never asked him to lie for him in the past. Lie for him in the past. He knows that Logan has driven his vehicle while on probation, which was or is prohibited. He was prohibited from doing so, and also said that Logan did not ask him to lie for Logan when Logan drove to the transfer station earlier in the day. On March 12, 2017, he explained in an interview to a law enforcement officer that Logan called him on the morning of February 14, 2017, and asked him to provide the alibi for Logan's drive to the aquarium in Lafayette. So after this, we're going to go and just look at an article of what staging even means, right? They say the phone call was made prior to law enforcement officers' discovery of LG and AW's deceased bodies. Based on investigators' experience, it is reasonable to believe that the creation of an alibi prior to the discovery of a crime indicates culpability or knowledge of the crime. Then someone said that he thought that the photograph of the male that was released by the media of the man on the bridge looked like Logan. Law enforcement officers learned that Logan had driven on February 13th to the transfer station in Delphi, Indiana to drop off trash. Video from the transfer station shows him driving his white Ford pickup truck between 11:27 and 11:32 a.m. Right? You want me to read all of it? Are we good? What's up, Jill? Welcome, welcome. Okay, I'm gonna skip forward just a little bit here. Let's just see what they say here. Logan did not ask the cousin to provide an alibi for his drive to the transfer station on February 13th, 2017. He only asked him to provide an alibi for a trip that would have occurred at the time of the apparent abduction of LG and AW. So here they say on March 8th, 2017, someone was interviewed by law enforcement officers and they met Logan 7 or 8 years ago, was in a personal relationship with Logan for a couple of months and would stay with him in his home on the weekends. They left Logan after he became physically abusive. During her interview, she explained that Logan continued to stalk and harass her after their breakup. During their relationship, Logan had dragged her out of her car by her hair. They still fear Logan and has not had contact with Logan in approximately 2 years, told interviewers that Logan had told her in the past that he could kill her and no one would find her body. So, there's all of that. I don't know. I don't know if there's any possibility that he could have known Richard Allen, been friends with Richard Allen, or if Richard Allen was just trying to dress like him and walk like, I don't know. You know, they did dress similarly. Okay. We're almost done. During her March 8th, 2017 interview, she said she knew Logan carried a gun everywhere he went and that Logan would carry a gun in a fanny pack. Described Logan's fanny pack as one made out of nicer material. Okay, so on March 8th, 2017, in an interview, someone told law enforcement officers when she first saw the photograph of the man on the bridge, she thought the police were looking for Logan because she thought the photograph was Logan. They did not initially realize that the photograph was that of a suspect. So that's also interesting. I just wonder if Richard Allen dressed like Ron Logan on purpose and went to Ron Logan's property to commit this crime to frame Ron Logan, which to some degree kind of worked, except they didn't find anything to arrest Ron Logan for murder. but they've arrested Richard Allen on 2 counts of murder and are holding him without bond. So again, it just tells me how calculated Richard Allen really is, even in broad daylight. In broad daylight, on a day when there was no school that day. He knew the area well, lived right across from the school. It's really scary to think. And the actual confidence to execute a crime like this in broad daylight, in an area that's very popular for people to go to, I just quickly want to see if there's anything else here. This is all about Logan, right? And people that knew him. We have read through this before, so I hope you'll check that out as well. We read through the whole thing. You can just see they were looking for things to be seized. You see here. So this is interesting just to consider. Based on the aforementioned facts, I believe there's probable cause to believe that Ronald Logan has committed the crime of murder, and evidence of that could be found on Ronald Logan's property. The affiant requests a warrant to search his property, described as a white 2-story single-family dwelling, including his detached garage, outbuildings, vehicle, a white Ford F-250, for evidence related to the murders of LG and AW for the following property. Now here they say any and all evidence pertaining to murder, including clothing, forensic evidence, blood, seen and unseen, hair, bodily fluids, seen and unseen, fibers, weapons, including guns and cutting instruments, electronic devices used to produce the cellular signals detected by law enforcement in the area of the crime scene, and animal hair samples. So that's where all that speculation comes on, with the cats in the backyard and everything is looking for animal hair samples. So that is interesting to think that in searching Richard Allen's house, they were probably looking for very similar things, right? Computers and computer equipment, digital storage devices, tapes, cassettes, cartridges, streaming tape, commercial software and hardware, computer disks, flash drives, disk drives, monitors, all this stuff, right? And when I was watching the Court TV episode earlier, one of the guests there said this would usually be, these types of crimes, against children, would usually be in a network, and this network could have international connections, because this guest on Court TV pointed out that Doug Carter said thank you to our global partners at least twice in the press conference, and that this could be a whole international CSAM, do you know what that is, you guys? I hope so. CSAM, child, content network, which is very scary to think about. So global partners. They did also say that they think that this would be a serial offender with deviant behavior. And yeah, to think that he was stalking the family in the aisles at the CVS as well, and asking like, can I help you today? How can I help you? Oh, let me just print out those photos for you, no charge, all that. So look at all this stuff that, they were looking at Ron Logan's property, and I would speculate they were looking for very similar things in Richard Allen's shed, flower bed, fire pit, and all that. So, and who knows what they found, because they detained him on Wednesday, the 26th of October. Remember, they searched the house on the 13th for 12 hours. Then they had to go and look at all the evidence, right? Look at everything they found. Then they came back and detained him on Wednesday, the 26th of October, and he was officially arrested on Friday, October 28th. And already has been in court facing 2 murder charges, 2 counts of murder, held without bond. Karen, thank you for supporting the channel. You say, question, both Liberty and her older sister lived with her grandparents. What's up with their birth mother? We've looked at some of the family dynamics in the past. I believe the birth mother got remarried and moved out of the area. And I'm not too sure exactly why they stayed with the grandmother, but yes, I know we've looked at some interviews and things in the past as well. Gregory Worth asks if I think this could have been I'm not going to say the whole word now in case YouTube hates it, and then suppresses the reach of this whole episode, but an enough movie. I do think it could be. I do think it could, but, it's very calculated in broad daylight and all that. And when Doug Carter said this could be, we know that this is like power for you, right? This is about power to you. I would just imagine how much he would impress a network like that if he could pull off something like this. But then I also see in the comments people saying that's way too sensational. So I'm not too sure what you think. But if there is a network and there is material, even if it's pictures or whatever, I mean, Kegan Kline was, after this, heading to Vegas and then Google searching Sandy Hook bodies, So this group, if he is, we don't know if he's connected or not yet. I'm just saying. This group and what these types of predators are into, if he's researching, and we know he's facing more than, I don't know how many, so many counts of CP. I hate calling it CP. It's CSAM. It's a better word. Then just think, if he's researching those things and he's facing all these charges, and we know what a bad man he is, and if he was in any way connected, or, I mean, this man who was 44 at the time murdered 2 little girls, 13 and 14 years old. So, I saw Chris McDonough talking about why someone would then stage, which we're going to look at as well. And he was just saying, because they fantasized about it for so long, So, yeah. Thank you for joining the channel. Sorry about that slow mode. There's lots of people here. So we got to do it so we can keep the chat grizzly. And so I can keep up and just see. Is it too slow? If anyone lets me know, I'll make it quicker again. Okay, so we're almost done with this. So you could just see what they were looking for: records, documents, writings. And they did find a stack of books, which could be journals. It could be records, documents, writings, and correspondence containing information about the crime scene, or any individual involved in the crime, right? It could also be a little journal collection, a little log of all the clients for this material. You just never know. I'm saying that also because of, wait for it. What was that case? Oh, the name escapes me. It's even in my Gacy book. I've got a whole chapter on that, about all these logs they found in these networks of which Gacy was part of. There's another killer that he mimicked, man. What is his name? Has anyone read my Gacy book? He was mimicking this killer, and this guy had records, like literally little journals and logs and records of all the clients that they would give this type of content to. So they say any and all tablets, phones, iPads, devices, and any and all electronic devices. You can see how much electronic data they want, which is why I speculate that in the first place. Any and all computer data, photographs, videos, documents, emails, sound files, which may contain evidence of the violations of the criminal statutes. You'll see? So that's what they were looking for. Nicole Robinson signed there, 17th day of March 2017. So that is everything we've looked at here. Here again, they list everything that they're seizing. They didn't find anything to arrest him for any of these related charges. But they probably found something with Richard Allen there to be able to arrest him. And imagine going through all that, the horror of it all, right? Okay, so let's put this. No, it's not Ramirez. Okay. It's Dean Carl. That's who it is. I just quickly want to change this. Why is this so bright? Wait for it. There you go. Just changing the green screen a bit. All right, so we've gone over that. And then the last thing, just in case anyone does, we've got this and map time to do. So quickly this, then map time. Map time will be short and sweet. Here they say, so you get, this is about serial killers, and we don't know that this guy is a serial killer at all. He committed a double homicide, but a serial killer would have to, depending on which state, which country, but in general, the general term, 3 murders with cool-off periods in between. So this would be a double homicide on one day, so it wouldn't make him a serial killer. Even if it was 2, because sometimes the definition is 2, depending again on which state or country, but this was 2 on the same day. So the interesting thing here was just that you could be an organized offender or a disorganized offender, right? And I would say that this guy, even if it was serial offenses and then murdered, not like the other offenses not being, it could be SA and all kinds of things, right? The way that he executed the crime, the way that he behaved seems extremely organized, right? The day, the time, the broad daylight, everything he may or may not have brought along, how he committed the crime, and just thinking about him getting away with it for so long, right? So they get organized and disorganized, right? The disorganized ones are not planned, and the criminals typically leave evidence such as fingerprints or blood at the scene of the murder. There's often no attempt to move or otherwise conceal. You see? So he was the opposite of that. But here, the MO and signature, I just wanted to read the signature part. So the signature, because Robert Ives, the former prosecutor, talked about at least 3 signatures. Now, of course, an accurate term would be a signature, because a signature could have 3 elements or multiple elements, but it's still a signature. He was talking about signatures being left, which is also why people speculated that whoever Bridge Guy is could turn out to be a serial killer. The signature, on the other hand, is not required in order to commit the crime. Rather, it serves the emotional or psychological needs of the offender. The signature comes from within the psyche of the offender, and it reflects a deep fantasy need that the killer has about his victims. Fantasies develop slowly, increase over time, and may begin with the torture of animals during childhood, for example, as they did with Dennis Rader, BTK. So this is from Psychology Today. I'll pin it in the comments afterwards. The essential core of the signature, when present, is that it is always the same because it emerges out of an offender's fantasies that evolved long before killing his first victim. And that's what I mean. If this was the first time he murdered anyone and the only time, and it's a double homicide, can you imagine all the fantasies that led up to that moment? Right? Caroline Page. Richard Speck, disorganized. Yes. So, well, some of these words are going to be hard to code and say. The essential core of the signature when present is that it is always the same. Okay, that's what we read. The signature may involve, I'm just going to have to say it, mutilation or dismemberment of the victim's body. The signature of Jack the Ripper was the extensive hacking and all of that of the victim's bodies, right? Now, staging and posing. The FBI profiler may also encounter deliberate alterations of the crime scene or the victim's body position at the scene of the murder. If these alterations are made for the purpose of confusing or otherwise misleading criminal investigators, then they are called staging, and they are considered to be part of the killer's MO. On the other hand, if the crime scene alterations only serve the fantasy needs of the offender, then they are considered part of the signature, and they are referred to as posing. Sometimes the victim's body is posed to send a message to the police or public. For example, Jack the Ripper sometimes posed his victims' nude bodies with their legs spread apart to shock onlookers and the police in Victoria, England. So that is what they mean. And they said the word staging in that Ron Logan search warrant when they talked about the crime scene. Right. So now, last but not least, it is finally map time. All right. So here, if we just one more time look at the map time, if you're brand new on this channel, yes, we do map time, and sometimes we have a little bit of an uplifting song to help us along, right? I just want to see if I can. Can I make this full screen here? Yes. Okay. Nice. So we've looked at this before, but I'm just showing you again, and we're going to look at the CVS from the outside. So Monon High Bridge, which is where the person who's been arrested, named Richard Allen, his home is here, and it would be a 5-minute drive to Monon High Bridge or to the CPS building where law enforcement said whoever parked a car there and abandoned the car there on the day between, I think it was 1 and 5, something like that, between noon and 5, I think it was, could they come forward? But they never told us the make, the model, the color of the car, or anything. So it's almost like they're speaking specifically to the person who parked there. Very interesting. So I don't know if he would have parked there and walked this way. We looked at that yesterday, and then entered through the cemetery area here to get to the bridge, or if he would have just driven to Monon High Bridge, and he could enter from different areas. There's actually a road that goes all the way up to here, but that is where he made first contact, as they say, with Abby and Libby, who were on the bridge and posted Snapchat photos, one of the bridge and one of Abby on the bridge. So Monon High Bridge is right there. Ron Logan's property, Ron Logan, who's now deceased, is right here. And the crime scene was around here, apparently. That's what they say, right? And then if we just look, Abby's house is also on the way. It's one of these homes here. So Richard would have literally driven past there, and Abby's family would also drive past his house on the way to town. That's something they've also said, like, holy crap, would have driven right past on the way to town every time they went in. So this would be his home. And as we saw it from the front, they were searching the backyard, the flower beds, the shed, which I would assume, as I said, would be his man cave. I want to see if we can... Okay, we can't put the little Google man there. Not... No, Google man doesn't want to go there now. He's like, no, thank you. I don't want to go there. And then if you just look at how close this is, the Delphi United Methodist Church is right here, which is where they had the press conference yesterday. It's like a stone's throw away from Richard's home. Oh, my word. I know he wasn't at home. I'm just saying, like, everything is very close to him. You know, it really is a small community, 3,000 people. And then the school is also right here. Delphi Community High School and Middle School is right there. Kathy Rupright, thank you so much for that. Those girls had to know him if he worked in the only pharmacy in town. Is that how he got them? You'd think they try to run. How do you control two? Many questions that we don't know the answer to yet. I would assume he would have, it would be plausible to think he had a gun with him, right? That would be one way to control two young girls, right? So, yes. All right. And then if we're almost done. So here's the CVS, and I put here's the courthouse. I don't know if that's exactly where they'll be having the trial, or if it's going to be moved to another state or somewhere else. You know, sometimes that happens as well. But here's the CVS. So let's take a quick drive here. Buckle up, everybody. We're driving now. Driving with G. So if we look around, this would be the building, and it's just interesting to see, you know, where he would have driven every day. Just look around. Just look around at everything and be like, damn, he went to work every day. That's Culligan. There is a gas station. Is that a gas station? There was one of them that's very close to here. I think it's that one. I'm not sure. Where Kegan Klein said he had been on the day waiting in the red Jeep, but then I think the FBI lost the footage or something like that. Oh my word. Yeah, driving on the sus bus. Okay, so I think I can go around the corner here. So here we go. This is the driving with G. Look at this cute little house over here. It's such a cute little town. What a horrendous crime. I mean, crimes are horrendous everywhere, but what a cute little town. So here's the CVS pharmacy, the only pharmacy in Delphi. You know, so he would be... Some people even said he walked to work every day. I saw that speculated on Facebook as well, that he was walking to work. Let's see if I could drive in here. I can only get as far as this. I mean, damn. You know, would have gone in there every day as a shift supervisor. But he did have a pharmacy technician license. And I guess, as someone pointed out earlier, yeah, he would be able to access, I would assume, everybody's records and, you know, addresses or details or things like that on the system. But I don't think he needed it because it's a very small community, right? Tom says, I found it odd that Marathon gas station, yes, was exactly the halfway point from his work to home and on his route to work. Yes, the Marathon gas station. Thanks for reminding me of the name. That's where Kegan Klein was saying that he had waited, right? Is that where he waited in the red Jeep? This is what Kegan, who seems to be a pathological liar, but he said he was waiting in a red Jeep while someone else committed the murders. So that is very interesting as well, if true. Typo lol. Yes, Richard says it's a tragedy for the whole town. Yeah, so I don't know. It's just, to me, just looking at it like this, just looking at this beautiful area and just thinking he's driving in here to work every day. He worked here for years, at least since 2018. I don't know exactly what he did before then. I see a lot of speculation on Facebook as well, but I'm not sure what he did before then. I'd be very interested to know. Look at this little dog. But that's pretty much it. I mean, if we just drive around here a little bit, just looking around the town, you know. Now we're just having fun looking around for a second. There's a McDonald's. There's no Walmart here. Someone actually said he may have worked in a Walmart before. I'm not sure where there's a Walmart. McDonald's. Maybe he went there for lunch every day. We don't know. Oh, he never said where? They just had footage, right? I just remember this whole thing with the breaking news and the footage that they had, possibly of Kegan at that Marathon gas station. Now imagine if he somehow made creepy comments when he ran into them on the bridge, and then he was upset when they dismissed him, so he went back home and got stuff and went back. Oh, damn, imagine that. They weren't there for that long, though, but I see what you mean, because it's quick drives, you know? Everything is very close. You're asking if I could drive from his house to the bridge. It's a little hard on here, because the little Google man doesn't drive like those back roads sometimes. Oh, we've got to orientate ourselves again. But I mean, yesterday we looked at it, would be like literally driving from here to the bridge. Like there's many different ways to do it, but driving from his home. I mean, he could get on here, go to the entrance, and we'll take these back roads, you know? So damn. Okay. Rick's license was to be a pharmacy technician. It's basically the assistant to the licensed pharmacist. He was never a real pharmacist. And he wasn't even working in that role. He was working as a shift supervisor, according to people that worked with him. Yes. Oh, the old CPS building, if you guys are asking, is literally here. I would think that if I had to speculate or, throw a guess, let's say that would be more accurate. Let's throw a guess. I would guess that he would have parked here, especially with law enforcement's interest of a vehicle that was parked there. We'll yet to find out. I would think he parked there and would have walked here, which would take 21 minutes to walk here and towards the bridge. Like that. He could have even walked like this. And before I thought maybe what if he did walk like that and pass them on the bridge and then turn around and come back, which may have given them a fright and made Libby record. So yeah, that old building is literally right here. I would say Gray Hughes has the best map time, especially on this case. He's got all the points and all the pins and all the everything. So you must go check that out. His map time on the case. The crime scene, we've looked at it in a few videos that I've done on the case and live stream. It was around here. They just make a circle, as they say, it's around here. 1,400 feet from Ron Logan's property. So yes. But there's so many channels dedicated to pinpointing with the choppers and with the everything exactly there. I've always just around here because I'm not 100% sure. Yes. Yeah, and he'd know the roads like the back of his hand. Exactly. Charles says he murdered and staged their bodies for no apparent reason. Perhaps it was the thrill and dopamine rush. Right? Okay. So, everyone, I think we've pretty much covered everything. This was also from yesterday. Oh, yeah, there's a picture from yesterday. This is the picture that I put Bridge Guy's picture in the background there, of course. So I edited that in just to make sure everyone understands. It's not actually, him walking in the background, but Bridge Guys, who's now been arrested. And for those say stop calling him Bridge Guy, like literally Becky Patty's calling him Bridge Guy, Kelsey, the family, Doug Carter. Bridge Guy is who they say they arrested. I know he's innocent until proven guilty. But anyway, Bridge Guy's wife took this photo in 2018, which would be a year after the murders. And right here at that place, like that's why I put that picture there in the background. Like this is where Libby and Abby would have been standing and filming Bridge Guy walking towards them, which is like, damn, why is your daughter posing there? That's just so strange of the parents, right? I think that his wife took the picture. Initially, I actually thought he took the picture. That would have made more sense to me. But some people have said that she took the picture. But how do we know? Because just because it was uploaded to her Facebook, we don't know who actually took it, right? Yes, this is his daughter. Yes. I believe she's around 28 years old now. I think, yeah, she's married as well. So, yes, please don't harass her or her husband. He's still got his Facebook up and everything. So, yeah, this is very, very scary to think that even if it's a popular area and people go to the bridge and all that, like, damn, it's like such an eerie photo, right? Joy says, I would never be able to walk that bridge. I think I'd be able to do it. The bridge is very scary, though, right? Very rickety. Damn, Candy says, I wonder if the wife took that pic to see if it set him off in any way, because she might have had a feeling he was BG. Sure. I don't know. So yeah, I think we looked at everything we possibly could today. I hope that you enjoyed the live stream today. Thank you so much for being here with me as we process all this new information that Richard Matthew Allen has been arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder for the murders of Abigail Williams and Liberty German. Innocent or proven guilty. Court date set, pre-trial hearing January 13th, 2023. And the trial is set to start on March 20th, 2023. I'm just setting you guys all up for what could happen, right? Disappointment. They might shift it and shift it. It might actually be a year or 2 or more. I don't know how long it will actually take. I really hope the trial will be in March, but we just never know. I'd rather be prepared for the worst than be like super excited for March 20th for the trial to begin and then it doesn't. Let's rather be prepared, right? Okay. JDR saying, where are your gloves? I don't really wear that on this channel. That was for, if you guys didn't see me dressing up for Halloween as Cruella, it is available on the members only playlist and on Patreon. So if you want to check that out, where I did dress up for Halloween this year, even though we don't really celebrate it in this country or in South Africa, you could check that out. Thank you so much, Richard. It was a pleasure again being here at Grizzly True Crime with the lovely and hardworking Gisela K. # justice for Abby and Libby. Thank you so much. And everyone, that reminds me, please make sure you share this video. # justice for Abby and Libby. You could also do # justice for Libby and Abby. Becky Patty is on Twitter, and so is Kelsey German. You can send them lots of love, flowers, encouraging messages, and things like that. I think they could really use that at a time like this. Lots of love and encouragement. So, yes. Thank you so much, everyone. And Rob said, thank you so much for the excellent live stream, Gisela. Fury time. I don't know what Fury's doing now. We mostly just do that on our Patreon and members only streams when I bring Fury out. So I know I brought him out on the other channel as well. And if you haven't seen my other channel, GNT, I did a new video today on the Daryl Brooks case. I know he's also just been sentenced as well. So we'll look at that soon too. Thank you so much, mods. Thank you so much, members, all the supporters of this channel. If I missed anyone, I'm so sorry about that. I really appreciate the support, and I will see you guys again very soon. I'm still looking at the other cases we're covering. Debbie Collier, I'm in contact with Jeffrey Bannon, her son, and so we're still looking at that case. Of course, Quentin Simon, and so many other cases. So don't worry, we're still covering many other cases. This was just like absolutely shocking breaking news that I'm glad we could experience it all together and just go over the details, and I'll keep you posted if there's anything more. Thank you so much, everyone, and I will see you again soon. I'm going to play the tribute as my outro, okay, today as well. Bye, everyone.